So I get up this morning figuring it's going to be a nice, slow, gentle day of sports. Going to watch the Washington Huskies beat the shit out of their first cupcake of the season in now 35 minutes. And not really thinking anything of huge significance is going to happen unless we were, God forbid, to lose that game and then we find out our team just isn't any good. But it was not to be. So on this Saturday, August 31st, 2019, I wake up, check my phone, and the Seattle Seahawks have traded for Jadeveon Clowney of the Houston Texans and formerly of the South Carolina Gamecocks. I think it's the Gamecocks. But anyway, I obviously I knew that Clowney was on the trade block. Obviously, I knew the Seahawks were on the short list, but I certainly didn't see this coming, and I didn't even know if I wanted it. I've talked about this a little bit on my Twitch channel. I don't know if I've done it on YouTube, but quite frankly, I'm not enamored by Clowney as a player. I think that he is obviously very good. I think he's very good against the run. That's his rep. He's probably better suited to play defensive end full time, which is something he will be doing here, if, you know, almost certainly, which is good, but I did not believe that he was good enough as a pass rusher to justify the money that he wanted to make and to justify his reputation, because as a defensive end, your ability to rush the passer really makes or breaks how great of a player you can be, especially with the league heading in the direction that it is heading. So I was kind of sort of not crazy enthusiastic about the prospect of this trade, but look, when a trade like this happens, when it goes down the way this one went down, you just have to be grateful. And I most certainly am. So the trade is we acquire Jadeveon Clowney. Houston Texans acquire Jacob Martin, who is a nice little player, nice little defensive end. He was going to make the team and contribute a little bit. Barkvarius Mingo, who I don't think was going to make our team. I think he was going to get cut, and he's just not that good. He doesn't really offer anything other than a warm body and a third-round pick, which, by the way, we will probably get in compensation if Clowney walks at the end of the season. So basically, we traded a couple pieces of roster filler. One guy might not even be roster filler, and a mid-round pick for the number one overall pick of 5 years ago, who, is very, very clearly quite talented and has produced in the NFL. And what's more than that, we don't even have to really pay him. He's going to be in a contract year, making $16 million, and he's going to be playing his ass off to try to prove that he's worthy of the $100 million contract he wants. So there's no way you can complain. We offloaded a couple of marginal players and a middle round pick for the rights to a guy who he's good. Maybe he's great. Maybe Houston was a bad environment for him. Maybe having to play linebacker as much as he did really stumped his production. Maybe he'll find more luck here. He's certainly got the talent for it. So if he does realize his full potential in Seattle, we have the option of keeping him for the rest of his career. And if he just ends up being, good, if he just ends up being okay or, decent or whatever, then he walks at the end of the year. We get a compensation pick. And basically all we lost were a couple of players who are completely replaceable. So, it's none of the downside. The only downside is having to potentially pay for one season a player who isn't that good. And we're going to be getting the best of Clowney because he's playing for his contract. So I have nothing to complain about here. This is a great trade. If you follow the chain of this trade, the fact that a couple years ago we traded for Dwayne Brown from these Texans. If you follow the trade we made with Frank Clark during this offseason, and you see how all this stuff links together in terms of us coming away with Clowney and Dwayne Brown and giving up a bunch of players who barely belong on an NFL roster, and a bunch of draft picks that so far have not meant a thing, like the players that Houston drafted with their picks they got for the Dwayne Brown trade. I don't even know if they've made an impact in the NFL. I don't think they have. So, really, as someone who wonders how good Clowney is, this trade is money, and I'm on board with it. So, we might not know what these Seahawks are capable of until, October. But once we do, there's a very good chance they're going to be a lot better than we expected, because we've got Clowney, who just got here. He's going to need a minute. We've got Anza, who just started practicing again. He's going to need a minute. And Collier, who just started practicing. He's going to need a minute. So the first month of the year could be rough, but there's a very good chance that after that month, after these guys have had a chance to acclimate themselves, they might be formidable. And I don't want to hate on Clowney too much. I know he's a good player. He's very good against the run. My thing is that as a defensive end, it's far more important for you to be good against the pass. You need to be able to rush the passer. You need to be able to disrupt passing plays. And Clowney, the last 2 years, he's had 9 sacks, I think. 9.5 and 9 sacks. He's been good, but he hasn't been a superstar. He hasn't been a Frank Clark. He hasn't been even really, I'd say, a D Ford, but he's been good. And I'm a little concerned about how good he's going to be after he gets his big contract, but that's not a concern for us. We're going to get contract year Clowney, and it seems like we can depend on a guy who is okay rushing the passer and really, really good against the run. And our run defense last year was crap, so that's not nothing. I would rather have a good pass rusher, but it's not nothing to have a really good defensive end against the run. And now that he's playing full-time defensive end, maybe we'll see a new side of Clowney. So yeah, I'm excited. This certainly is more important than the Washington Huskies taking on their first cupcake of the season. I will make a video after that game. I don't know what to say before the game because I don't know what to expect from the team this year, but I will make a video after with my thoughts. But right now, it's all about Clowney coming to Seattle. I'm on board for it as a 1-year rental. If he ends up becoming the next Lawrence Taylor, then we can keep him around after that. But I'm mostly just excited that we're getting the contract year Clowney, because I believe contract year Clowney is solid pass rusher, great against the run, and he's an all-around really good player. And if you watched our pass rush in the preseason, it was fine when we were blitzing, but I know Pete Carroll doesn't really want to send blitzes. I know he wants to rush with 4. So that's the news today. That's the hot take. I'm on board with it because the trade was phenomenal. Hats off to John Schneider for pulling this one off. But Clowney's got some stuff to prove to me personally, because he's a 3-time Pro Bowler. He's made the All-Pro team once. He's got to show me that he earned those accolades on more than just making a big play in college and being the #1 overall pick. All right. See you guys after the Husky game. Go Hawks. Exciting. Can't help but be exciting.